All right, Ultimate Hoops Nation. I'm Aaron WIMSETT. This is Sonny Young Graves. It's the good and the bad and the ugly. Week 6. We're a little bit over halfway through. What are your thoughts so far on the season?
So far, to begin, it looked good. Now in the middle, it's like getting shaken up. It's looking like March Madness out here with Bloomington, a couple top teams falling off, and some new emerging teams coming on.
It's getting a little weird. It's not your typical season, or at least not that I'm used to.
Yeah, Dayton must be in here or something. I don't know. Just come in messing up everything.
So last night in Bloomington South, the Blue Chips beat the Rebels 64-60. I think they beat the Goodfellas, the Guerrillas, and the Rebels. That's it's a pretty good bunch of people to beat. It's kind of murderer's row there.
Yeah, I would say for the Rebels is the regular season. The Guerrillas, that's a good win because their playoff teams sometimes are worse. And Goodfellas, solid start right there.
So in last night's game, they kind of turned the tables on the Rebels. The difference in the game from what I saw, they forced 18 turnovers and had 13 steals. That's the Blue Chips. That's kind of what you'd expect the Rebels to do.
Yeah. Me watching most of the game, it was back and forth. A lot of lead changes, tie games, and it just ended up hustle. Whoever hustled. Blue Chips got a lot of offensive rebounds, second chance points towards the end, and Rebels run out of gas. Started complaining too much to the refs.
Also last night in Bloomington South, Miller Time faced the Guerrillas, and you think the Guerrillas coming off a loss would have just kind of breezed through that game. They end up losing. It was a tight one. Down the stretch, though, the Guerrillas didn't hit their free throws. Miller Time did. There was a questionable call at the end. The girls were down by 2. I think there was 10 seconds left. Noe dribbles up the court. I think there's 2 passes, and Bryant takes a 3. From my vantage point, it's not a foul. I watched the video a few times. I think it was Curtis Hughes who had his hands we'll play it here. It looks straight up, and it looks like Brian leapt into him. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so if we got the play going right now, you got Noe with the dribble handoff, and you kick it back to Bryant. Now, from when he touches the ball, it must be like 2 seconds left. He takes a dribble and leans in for the 3. The shot's blocked. Hand straight up in the air, no contact. If he took an inch step forward, that's on him. Bryant's coming into him. He didn't jump. He didn't leave his feet. That's legal defense. You should have took a better shot.
Moving on to Fridley. The Blazers are now – they kind of had a rough start to the season, or they lost. They had a bad loss. No, but they had what's their second game? They had a bad loss. Anyways, they won 3 in a row. They won tonight, 86-74 over Menace. They're ranked number 3 right now. Your thoughts on them?
It was very efficient. Like, it was a team game played today. Everybody chipped in. James hard on the glass, looking to keep everybody involved. Corey was knocking down big 3s on kickouts and second chance points. Devin was attacking the basket. Jake was attacking. Jake fouled out, which, which is good. Should be good for minutes, but by that time, they were already out of it. They were all broken. They made a run, cut it to 2, 61-59, and then it came to one-on-one ball, and team ball got them back in the game, took them right out of it. So.
The Heights, they're 5-1. You know, going into tonight, you probably expected them to be 5-1. They played Brick City tonight, won by I think 25, somewhere up there. I think the only real game that you could count would be the Bulls, but then the Bulls only had 4 for the first half of the game. We'll find out how good they are, though, in these next 2 games because they face the Avengers, and the Avengers are coming off a loss, and then they play the Magic Johnsons. Do you think they can get a win there?
Well, the Avengers, they have a chance because Dre will be out. He's injured. And if they only show up with 5, they can run them down with like their youth and tempo. I mean, I feel like they're a good team. It's just they're undersized. So when it comes to the more experienced teams, they're just going to body them and body them. They know this is where they use the rest of their advantage, where they know the rest aren't going to call a lot, and they play more physical against a smaller team. It's gonna work. Especially, I know Troy falls in love with the 3. I mean, if he's hitting, it's great. If he's not, gotta facilitate.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to watch him play against a team like the Avengers that plays team ball. That would kind of make them forced to play team ball because they'll, if they're worried about Montroy, they'll shut them down, and But they have they got Tack. I think his name's Tack Anway. He's really good, and whoever 41 is, I can't remember his name, but they got some players.
I mean, it'll be a close game to start, but I think the Avengers will run away with it.
On to the bad. The Bulls are now 2-4. They lost tonight to the Magic Johnsons, I think by like 18-20. Rod Powell, I only think, shown up for 2 games, so maybe you can't, consider them 2-4, but they're on the bubble for the playoffs right now.
Well, I saw Ra here, so I think he's hurt, which that hurts that franchise. But they're a playoff team. All they need to do is get there. Bulls are 2-4, Celtics 2-3, Avengers on a slump, Rebels on a slump, Guerrillas on a slump, but I can't see anybody seeing the Guerrillas or any of those teams I named saying come in the playoffs 3-5 and be happy with that matchup.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say at this point, not knowing what other teams are doing or what other teams are going to end up, wouldn't you say they need to win the last 2 games?
They need to. Of course, they need to try to win the last 2, but I know they have the Celtics on the schedule, and we haven't been playing the best. And I'm not sure who their final game is. So for sure they got to win 1 or 2 to even be considered. But 2 solid out, finish out 2 for 2 for the Bulls.
The bad boys. This is only a bad because I wanted to see them do well. I wanted to see them make the playoffs. New team, a bunch of good guys. They play tough. They play hard. Joe Dalal is kind of an up-and-comer in the league. They're 1-5, so they're out of the playoffs. Well, hopefully they come back next year. If you were them, what additions would you make to the team, or what would you look to make to that team to kind of make them a playoff contender next season?
Well, for them, I would say they need a solid point guard and a big man, because Joe and Walter need to be on the wing because they want to attack. Like, they're not Joe. I saw a few good passes from Joe, but I mean, he's at best going to the basket. So if they could get a distraction or get a point guard that could create as an unselfish player, because those 2 had the ball 90% of the time. Everyone else had, like, off of kickoff, second chances, getting trapped. That's where everybody else got their points from. But for me doing stats, Walt had the first 15 points. Like, and there were 3 shots coming from elsewhere. Given they had John Christensen on Joe, so he was isolated. Then they tried to put Mike on Walt to tone him down, but it was just full court back-to-back. But then they ran out of gas.
So, yeah, I mean, it's bad because I wanted him to do good. So I'm gonna take a second to rip on myself real quick.
The ugly?
Oh, it's ugly, but this isn't the ugly yet. The ugly's just got to be one thing.
No, I feel like it could be the ugly. So let's just compare. I didn't have a game tonight. So last night I had 8 free throws. Tonight you had 8 free throws. I was 8 for 8 last night. What about
You're my coach then. I was 1 for 8 tonight. Do you want to guess what my? I've only played 4 games this season, but you want to guess what my free throw percentage is in 4 games?
Well, you're fresh off of surgery, so I'll give you a break. I'll say you're at 50% right now.
I actually thought it was worse than this. It's bad. I mean, I thought it was worse. I was actually surprised, but I'm 7 of 24. That's 29%. So to me and anybody else out there who struggles shooting free throws, what would you say are the keys to shooting free throws?
Well, you don't have big hands like Shaq and DeAndre Jordan, so you don't have that excuse. Focus. Don't think about the shot. It's the same as a jump shot. If you can shoot a jump shot, just relax. Follow through, spread your fingers. But 29%, you're Capella off the Rockets. Whenever you play the Squids and you want to blow them up, foul Aaron, send them to the line. They won't have any more than 10 points the whole game.
Should do something. If I don't know what I could do though. If I don't shoot 50% for the rest of the season, we could do something. I need a coach though. So on to the ugly. So last week you said something you never get to say. The Rebels and the Guerrillas both lose. You can say it again this week.
The Rebels lose to the Blue Chips. The Guerrillas lose to Miller Time. It's great.
Do they lose 3 times in a row?
Same night now. No. Maybe one. What do you know who? No, I think Big Smash plays the Rebels next week. So of course I'm looking forward to a 3rd loss for the Rebels. But who would be left for the Guerrillas?
I don't know. Probably should have looked that up, but
I mean, I'm satisfied with 2 in a row. I'm not going to get greedy here because I still need them to lose in the playoffs. So go ahead and win whatever you need because I need you both to lose in the playoffs.
Will we see them play each other in the championship again?
No, I refuse.
Any final thoughts?
Gold Cup. It's time.
It's getting to that time. It's the playoff push time.
Shout out to Briggs. He says that the Blue Chips are on their way down. I mean, they hit their peak for the season. So he wanted us to bring that up to motivate them. I don't know.
Talking about the Blue Chips.
Here we go. Here's your bet for the ugly. You have to shoot better than Adam Wetzel from free throws.
Hey, come week 9, because week 9 here, we'll update that. We'll see what we're shooting. What? I thought he shot well.
I know the last few games I saw, he's been like 2 for 8, 2 for 10, like so. I know they don't look for him in clutch time to shoot free throws. So, you versus Adam to see from now to the end of the season who has the better percentage.
So, something we forgot to talk about. The Squires were undefeated. So now the Blue Chips and the Squires are both 5-1. Will we see the Blue Chips at number 1?
Izzy's still in the committee, so no, they won't be number 1. I mean, Izzy will probably put them at number 10 just so the points way down.
We'll see. That's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week.